Hey folks, Ariel over here. For those interested in some of what's been going on around here other than building the house, which of course has taken the majority of our summer, I do have a collection of other things I grabbed a minute to film, and so I thought I would get around to sharing that, just all the beautiful things that are around our property through the summer and what the critters are doing and so on. So this is pretty much a collection of kind of spring into summer. We did start the spring with a couple of thunderstorms and stuff and snowstorms, and promptly after that it went to being very hot and dry for the whole rest of the year. But this is some of the other things that have been taking place while we have been busy with building our little house. So I thought most of you would probably enjoy seeing some of that again. One thing you will probably notice across these clips is that it was extremely windy all summer. It has remained extremely windy. That is not the norm for our area, and that did make filming some stuff rather challenging. Mahogany here is our last mama hatching. She had 14 eggs under her, so we'll see who all hatches. They just started this morning, but I can see 2 chicks peeking out. And she'll be the last one for the year. It starts to get too late to raise little babies after that. You're a good mama. We had multiple mothers, of course, hatch lots of chicks this year. We had about 70 little babies, which is plenty. The extra roosters, of course, end up in freezer camp, and we always keep a few pullets for our flock, and several neighbors needed flocks. This is June 19. Things are green. It is snowing. It is not out of the norm at all for us to get spring snows like this, but this one did go on a little longer and a little deeper, and hung around longer than most do. The snow actually does turn things white here, and it didn't melt for 3 days, and that did, in our observations over the rest of summer, it did manage to kill a lot of the apple blossoms and strawberry blossoms for the year, which was unfortunate, I think mostly because it hung out so long. The little songbirds and hummingbirds seemed very grateful for the feeders these couple days. They come, all summer long, but they were here in very great numbers looking for enough food to stay warm through this storm. But the snow did melt, and it turned into summer here, and the chickens went back to scratching around with their babies, and the flowers to blooming, and all of that good stuff. And then it got extremely hot, and so most of the flowers went really quick this year. They would open and just kind of burn up from the heat and the drought because there wasn't much more moisture after that snowstorm. And the wind continued, and it got extremely warm. So there are a lot of pretty flowers here, but a lot of them just did not last very long, which is unfortunate. We did grow out a batch of the hatchery's Heritage Special heavy meat birds to put in our freezer as well this year. We moved them around that little chicken tractor through the summer, and that worked out well, though I forgot how big of a pain it is to raise chicks that don't have a real mother, so I probably won't do that again. It's just not that much fun. We did have some little aphids in our orchard, probably on just a couple of the trees, and you can see the little black bugs tucked in the leaves there for a second. That was another aphid predator that we got and released, and they seemed to help control them anyway, which was nice. We did not do any sprays in the orchard, and it was back to when the garden was just starting to look lush and green, and the asparagus patch was growing up, and that whole row of sunflowers that you guys saw in the other video was just sprouting through the ground. And I'm sorry it took me so long to get all these clips put together, but this is stuff I'd been collecting all summer long and just ran out of time.
Yeah.
Summer did include a few truly impressive looking storms rolling through. They just didn't really put down any measurable moisture, usually not even enough to settle the dust. And once or twice we had some friends over, which we need to do more of, but did not do nearly enough of this summer. These honeysuckle vines by our gate were two of the very first things I had planted on this property, and they are now big and making lots of flowers, and the other pollinators love them, but the hummingbirds really love them, and they were just loaded this summer. The little pear tree in our orchard set some pears for the first time in its young life, and some of our currant and gooseberry bushes are actually getting established and got fairly loaded for their small size with fruit this summer, which was wonderful. I saw several folks ask about the bees. I will have an update just on them coming up. But we did harvest a lot of honey. Most of it was last year's when they were very, very busy, because we did have colonies that did not make the winter and left honey. So we'll go into all that on a detailed bee video, but we have bees here. They are busy, and we did get a lot of honey harvested from last year, which was wonderful. We had lots of other baby things through the summer. One of these little fellows went and joined Micah up at his cabin. One we named Ponder, and she is here, joined our mouse patrol. And two others are patrolling rodents for a neighbor not too far away. So it is always fun to watch these little guys grow up and their antics as they mature. That looks like a lot of chicks with one mom, you're right. We had 3 batches nearly the same age. They're all plenty old enough to not need a mom, but the other 2 went back to being on the perch with all the other adults. And it seems like their chicks figured, well, if my mama left me, I'm just going to hang out with this mama. Ember being one of our very motherliest. She's the one that you might remember raised our ducklings too. So now she's got most of 30 chicks all trying to snuggle with her at night. She'll probably be back on the perch any day, but I thought that was kind of funny. To a 5 to 10 mile per hour breeze. This is kind of what most of the year has been like. We usually get at most 1 to no days like this. Hope it doesn't break the fruit trees right to the ground or snap these all off. It's flattened the corn and everything. And so that kind of catches you up toward fall here. I did have less filming of a lot of flowers and bees and critters than normal, partially because we've been so busy with the house and partially because it's been so violently windy that it's been nearly impossible to film a lot of that stuff a lot of the time. Things were still beautiful, and I hope you guys enjoyed them as well. Thanks for spending your valuable time with us.
I hope you learned something interesting and useful.
Or found something beautiful here.